Alex had always thought his life was boring. He lived alone in a small house on the edge of town, far from the crowded streets and noisy neighbors. Most of his days were spent working at the computer, ordering takeout or watching random shows. He liked it that way, quiet, simple, and predictable. At least that's what he thought until the night everything changed. It was a rainy Friday evening. The sky was dark and rain hammered against the windows with a steady rhythm. Alex sat on the couch half watching a documentary about deep-sea creatures when a sudden thump came from the basement. He froze. Okay, probably just a branch hitting the window, he muttered to himself. But then another thump echoed, closer, heavier, like something had landed on the floor below. He sighed, setting the remote down. Fine, let's check it out. Alex walked to the basement door, a thin wooden door with a small window at the top. His heart was beating faster than usual. He opened the door slowly, peering into the dark staircase. Only shadows greeted him, twisting and dancing with the flickering light from the street lamps outside. Hello? He called softly. Is someone there? No answer came, only the soft drip of water from a leaky pipe. Alex hesitated, then grabbed a flashlight from the wall. He flicked it on and stepped cautiously down the stairs. Halfway down, he froze. There, crouched behind a pile of old cardboard boxes, was a tiny figure. She had pointed black wings, delicate and shiny, folded neatly behind her. Her ears were like a cat's, soft, triangular, and twitching nervously. But it was her eyes that caught him completely off guard, glowing violet, bright in the dim light staring directly at him. Alex stumbled back a step. What are you? The little girl stood slowly, brushing imaginary dust off her black leather jacket. She had pale skin, black hair streaked with purple, and a small tail that flicked back and forth like a cat's. She tilted her head, her eyes narrowing as if studying him carefully. I am Nyx, she said, her voice soft but strange, almost musical. And I like your human rituals, Alex blinked. Your rituals? Yes, Nyx replied, stepping closer. Her wings fluttered slightly and her tail swished in excitement. Tea, candles, celebrations, your little habits. I love them. I want to learn more. Alex's mind raced. He had seen plenty of strange things online, but this was something entirely different. Okay, first of all, you're tiny. Second, you have wings, cat ears, and a tail. And third, you're in my basement. Nyx looked at him earnestly. Yes, I am staying here for now. I wish to observe humans closely. I will not leave yet. Please understand, Alex rubbed his face. Observe humans? You mean me? Yes, she smiled faintly. You perform many rituals daily. I wish to see them. And perhaps participate, Alex asked incredulously. Nyx nodded seriously. Yes, the human ritual of brewing tea, the ritual of lighting candles, even the ritual of watching stories on glowing screens. I find them fascinating. Alex felt a mixture of amusement, confusion, and fear. He had no idea what he should do. Okay, sit down, he said awkwardly, motioning to the couch. Nyx gracefully hopped down from the boxes. Her wings fluttered and she landed lightly on the carpet as if weightless. She studied the room like an explorer discovering a new world. Alex watched her carefully, still unsure if she might vanish or attack. Do you drink tea? Alex asked, trying to start a conversation. Yes, Nyx replied promptly. I have observed its preparation in passing. It seems delightful. I wish to try it myself. Alex chuckled nervously. Right, let's see if we even have tea. 1 second. He walked to the kitchen, opening cabinets, searching for a tea bag. Nyx followed silently, her violet eyes scanning every shelf and corner. When he returned with a kettle and a bag of chamomile, Nyx sat cross-legged on the floor. Explain, she said simply. Alex raised an eyebrow. Explain? How humans prepare this ritual, Nyx said, her tone almost scholarly. Every step, every motion, every intention. Alex blinked, trying to wrap his head around this. Okay, sure, first you boil water, then... He went step by step, carefully showing her how to measure the tea, pour hot water, and let it steep. Nyx watched intently, occasionally nodding or murmuring in delight at each step. When the tea was ready, Alex handed her a tiny cup. Here, try it. Nyx took the cup with both hands, bringing it to her lips. Her eyes widened as she sipped, and she let out a soft, happy sound. Yes, this is extraordinary. Humans are wise to create such rituals. Alex laughed, partly relieved.
I guess so.
It's just
Tea. Just tea?
Nix repeated, looking confused. No, this is an expression. A ceremony. Humans find comfort in it. They find focus, peace. I understand why you do this. Alex shook his head, smiling. He had never met anyone or anything who reacted to tea with such awe. Well, welcome to your first human ritual, Nix. Nix smiled shyly. Thank you, human. This is only the beginning. I have so much to learn. As the night went on, they tried more rituals. Alex taught Nix how to light a candle safely, how to arrange a small plate of snacks, and even how to watch a short film. Each time, Nix reacted with fascination and curiosity, asking questions about why humans did certain things. Her perspective was so unique that Alex found himself thinking about his own routines in a completely new way. Hours passed, and soon the storm outside had calmed. The basement felt warmer, cozier, even magical. Alex realized he wasn't scared anymore. Somehow, Nix's presence made the basement feel alive. Then, without warning, Nix floated slightly off the ground. Alex jumped back. What are you doing? He asked. I am showing gratitude, Nix said, hovering. A soft violet glow surrounded her wings. Tiny sparkles appeared in the air, illuminating the basement with gentle colors. Alex blinked, amazed. Okay, that's pretty cool, he admitted. Nix landed softly. Do not be afraid. I do not mean harm. I only wish to learn and observe. Alex nodded slowly. Yeah, I think I get that now, still. This is a lot to take in. Nix tilted her head. I understand. Humans often fear what they do not know, but fear will pass. Curiosity. Curiosity is stronger. It drives learning. Alex laughed softly. You're a weird little thing, you know that? Nix grinned, her fangs just barely visible. Yes, I am unusual. But perhaps you like unusual things. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. He wasn't sure why, but for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel alone. As the clock approached midnight, Alex yawned. All right, I should probably get some sleep. You, stay in the basement if you want, I guess. Nix nodded, curling up on an old blanket near the corner. Yes, I will stay. Human sleep. I wish to observe. I find it fascinating. Alex shook his head, smiling as he climbed the stairs. He wasn't sure what tomorrow would bring, but one thing was certain. His life would never be boring again. A tiny Goth Pixie cat girl had entered his basement and claimed she loved human rituals. And somehow that was just the beginning. As Alex drifted off to sleep, he could hear Nix softly humming a tune he didn't recognize. The glow of her violet eyes faded as she settled, but the basement still felt alive. Magic was here now, mingling with the ordinary, and Alex had no idea what adventures lay ahead. And somewhere deep in the shadows, Nix smiled. She had found her first human to teach, and perhaps a friend as well. The next morning, Alex awoke to the faint sound of soft footsteps and the scent of something sweet. He rubbed his eyes and glanced toward the basement door. A faint violet glow seeped through the cracks, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. He realized immediately. Nix was awake and doing something. With a mixture of curiosity and caution, he climbed down the stairs. Nix was sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by small piles of items she had collected the night before. Tea bags, old candles, and a stack of colorful paper. She hummed softly as she carefully arranged them, her wings twitching in rhythm with her movements. A faint trail of sparkles followed her hands as they moved, giving the basement an almost festive glow. Good morning, Alex said, trying not to sound too startled. A busy morning, huh? Nix looked up, her violet eyes bright. Good morning, human. Yes, I am preparing for human rituals. Alex blinked. Rituals, go again? Yes, she said seriously. Every day has rituals. Even waking up, brushing teeth, making food. All rituals. I wish to learn them fully. Alex couldn't help but smile. Okay, let's start simple. Breakfast? Nix's eyes lit up. Yes, I wish to participate fully. Alex went to the kitchen and grabbed some eggs, bread, and fruit. Nix followed, hovering just above the floor, her tail flicking with excitement. When Alex cracked an egg, Nix tilted her head. Explain, she said. Explain. Alex asked, chuckling, how humans cook eggs. Every step, every motion, every intention, Nix said, Her tiny hands folded as if she were praying. Alex rolled his eyes playfully. All right, fine. First you heat a pan. He carefully explained the process, and Nix listened with absolute focus, occasionally nodding or murmuring softly. When the eggs were ready, they sat at the small kitchen table. Alex had scrambled some eggs and toasted bread, while Nix had a tiny plate magically sized for her. She held the fork carefully with her hands and took a small bite. Her eyes widened. Yes, this is delightful. Humans are wise to create such rituals for nourishment. Alex laughed. You really mean everything literally, don't you? Nix shrugged, her tail flicking. Literal or not, it is meaningful. Rituals give humans structure and comfort. I admire that. After breakfast, Alex suggested they go through another human ritual. Cleaning. He figured Nix could learn to pick up after herself. He didn't expect her to take it so seriously. She hovered around the basement, carefully dusting corners with tiny magical swipes, sweeping crumbs into neat piles, and arranging objects with precision. Whenever Alex tried to help, she would gently push him aside. No human. Observation first. Participation second. By late morning, the basement looked immaculate, almost too neat. Alex leaned back on a chair, wiping sweat from his forehead.
Wow, I didn't think cleaning could be…
Fun? Nix's wings fluttered lightly. Fun is a human emotion. I am learning it. Slowly. Then, as if on cue, something strange happened. A stack of books Alex had left on the floor began to hover. They floated in a circle, spinning gently. Alex froze. Nix? He asked cautiously. Nix clapped her hands lightly. Yes, I am practicing small magic while learning your rituals. It enhances the experience. Alex's jaw dropped. Enhances. The experience? You're making my books float. Nix giggled softly. Yes, humans sometimes use imagination to enhance rituals. I use magic. Alex shook his head, both amazed and slightly nervous. Okay, this is officially not boring anymore. As the day went on, Nix became more and more fascinated with human habits. She watched Alex brush his teeth and ask questions about why humans cared about cleanliness. She studied him making coffee, noting the careful measurements and precise timing. She even insisted on participating when he watered his plants, fluttering her wings to make sure the water reached every leaf evenly. Alex began to notice subtle changes in the basement. Plants seemed to grow faster and healthier, their leaves shimmering faintly under Nix's magic. Shadows shifted and danced even when the lights were off. Objects sometimes moved slightly on their own, as if guided by invisible hands. At first, Alex found this a little unsettling. Nix, I don't know if I want floating furniture and glowing shadows, he said, cautiously stepping around a floating book. Nix tilted her head. Do not fear. I control it. Humans do not realize how much they already influence their surroundings. I only enhance what already exists. Alex laughed nervously. Yeah, well, your enhancements are noticeable. By evening, Alex decided to introduce Nix to one of the most important human rituals, watching movies. He set up the living room with a small screen, dimmed the lights, and handed Nix a bowl of popcorn. This is a human ritual? She asked, wide-eyed. Yes, Alex said. We sit, watch stories, laugh, maybe cry. Sometimes we even learn something. Nix nodded, settling beside him. I will observe carefully. The movie started, and Nix's reactions were priceless. She gasped loudly at every surprise, laughed at the funny parts, and occasionally whispered questions about why humans acted certain ways. At one point, when a character shared an emotional moment with a friend, Nix's eyes glimmered. Humans form bonds. Rituals help maintain them. I understand now. Alex watched her quietly, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. This tiny, unusual being was learning from him, but at the same time she was teaching him about life in ways he had never considered. Her fascination with rituals wasn't just curiosity, it was admiration for humans themselves. After the movie, Nix floated slightly above the couch. This ritual of sharing stories is powerful. Humans connect through it. I want to participate more. Alex shook his head, smiling. You already are. You just don't realize it. Nix looked thoughtful. I do not wish to intrude, but human rituals, I find them essential. They give meaning to your world. Yeah, they do, Alex admitted. Sometimes you just don't notice it until someone points it out. Nix's eyes brightened. Then I am honored to observe and to learn. Humans Your ways are simple yet profound. Alex yawned, realizing how long they had spent together. All right, I should probably sleep soon. You can stay in the basement. I guess you feel safe there, right? Nix nodded solemnly.
Yes, I feel.
Welcomed. Safe, I wish to stay. Please, allow me to continue learning. Alex hesitated, then smiled. Okay, but remember, magic aside, don't make too much mess. Nix giggled softly, curling up on her blanket. Her tail flicked, wings folding neatly behind her. I will be careful. Humans have rituals of trust. I respect them. As Alex climbed the stairs, he felt a mix of wonder and disbelief. A tiny Goth Pixie cat girl was living in his basement, practicing human rituals and slowly transforming his home with her magic. Somehow, life had become colorful, unpredictable, and exciting all at once. Before he fell asleep, he thought about what this could mean. Nix was not from his world, yet she admired it deeply. She saw value in the small things he had always taken for granted, and somehow her fascination made him appreciate his own life more. Meanwhile, in the basement, Nix whispered to herself, softly humming a tune Alex couldn't recognize. I will learn all your rituals, all your ways, humans. I admire you. I wish to understand. Completely. Outside, the stars twinkled faintly above the rain-soaked earth. Inside, magic and humanity were slowly intertwining, creating a bond between two very different worlds. And somewhere deep in the basement, a tiny Goth Pixie smiled, ready for the next human ritual she would discover. Tomorrow promised more lessons, more discoveries, and perhaps more magic than Alex had ever imagined. The next few days passed in a whirlwind of routines and small wonders. Alex had grown used to Nix's presence, though he still found her magical antics astonishing. She practiced human rituals with remarkable dedication, often adding her own twist with little sparkles of magic. Cups floated gently to the table, shadows danced along the walls, and even the plants seemed to respond to her touch, growing brighter and healthier with every day. At first, Alex found it delightful, but soon, subtle signs suggested that Nix's magic was beginning to attract attention from outside their small world. It started with strange noises outside the house, heavy footsteps on the wet grass, whispers carried on the wind that sounded almost like words, but Alex could never make them out. The cats in the neighborhood hissed and crouched low whenever they passed the yard. And occasionally, the faintest glimmer of violet light would reflect off the window, even when Nix was inside. Alex tried not to think about it. He assumed it was his imagination, or perhaps local wildlife reacting to the stormy weather. But Nix noticed. You seem worried, she said one evening, floating near the couch. Her wings glimmered faintly. Humans feel fear when the unknown approaches. It is natural. Alex sighed. Yeah, maybe. But it feels like someone, or something, is watching us. Like they know you're here. Nix tilted her head, her violet eyes serious. They are not human. There are beings from my realm who search for me. Some wish to return me. Others are curious about humans. They sense my presence. Alex's stomach sank. Return you? You mean force you back to wherever you came from? Yes, Nix said quietly. And that could be dangerous. I have never been outside my realm for this long. My magic is strong, but others may challenge it. Alex ran his hands through his hair. So this is my fault for letting you stay here? Nix shook her head. No, you only share your world with me. That is brave. Humans often ignore or dismiss what they do not understand. You allow learning. That is rare. Despite her reassurance, Alex couldn't shake the unease that had settled in his chest. He loved having Nix around, but he also knew that her presence might attract forces beyond his understanding. The next morning, Alex decided to introduce Nix to another human ritual: cooking. He hoped that by keeping her busy with daily life, he could minimize any magical disturbances outside. They went into the kitchen together. Alex had planned something simple: pasta with tomato sauce. But Nix treated the process as if it were a sacred ceremony. First, you boil the water, she said, eyes focused. Then, you add the pasta. You stir, with intention. Alex laughed softly. Yeah, we stir so it doesn't stick. Nothing magical about that part. Nix's wings twitched. Every motion is magical if you believe it is. Humans do not always see it, but the act itself holds power. Rituals are conduits. Alex paused, realizing she might be right in some strange way. His mundane actions, repeated daily, were meaningful, and Nix's perspective made them feel alive again. As the pasta cooked, Nix floated above the counter, sprinkling seasoning with gentle flicks of her fingers. The herbs twirled through the air before settling perfectly in the sauce. Alex watched, amazed. You're making pasta look like a spell. Nix smiled. Perhaps it is a spell. Humans call it cooking. I call it creation. Dinner was eaten with quiet conversation. Alex noticed that Nix seemed contemplative, her eyes lingering on him with curiosity and something deeper he couldn't quite name. Afterward, Alex went to tidy the kitchen, while Nix floated to a corner of the room, inspecting old boxes he had forgotten about. That's when something happened. A faint ripple of violet light appeared near the basement door. It expanded slowly, forming a shimmering portal. From the center, a shadowy figure emerged, a being similar to Nix, with delicate wings and cat-like features, but taller, more severe, and exuding authority. Nix, the figure said, voice calm but commanding. You have stayed in the human realm too long. Nix froze mid-step, her wings stiffening. I am learning, Master Arendor. I only wish to observe humans. I do not wish to defy you. Arendor's violet eyes scanned the basement. He noticed Alex immediately and paused, expression unreadable. And you? He said, turning to the human. This one harbors Nix, exposing her to human rituals. Fascinating. Alex's heart pounded. Hi, I didn't know anyone else would come. Arendor's gaze softened slightly, almost as if he were amused. Humans are unusual creatures. Very unusual indeed. Most would fear, flee, or fight. You observe and allow. That is interesting. Nix's wings drooped. Master, I only wish to learn. I admire humans, their rituals, their ways. I do not wish to cause harm. Arendor studied her, then nodded. Curiosity is not forbidden, but there are consequences. Prolonged exposure to human rituals changes you. You are not fully human, yet you absorb their habits, their emotions, their strengths and weaknesses. Alex frowned. Wait, so her staying here could be dangerous? For her? Nix glanced at him, eyes wide. It may, but it is worth learning. Humans have courage and rituals, meaning. I wish to understand fully. Arendor's expression hardened. You must decide, Nix. Return now, or remain, and face risks of both realms. Humans are fragile, unpredictable. You may harm them, or be harmed yourself. Alex felt his chest tighten. He couldn't imagine losing Nix. She's my friend, he said quietly. She's learning, and she's part of my life now. Isn't that worth something? Nix's eyes shimmered with emotion. Yet, Alex, this human teaches me, protects me, trusts me. I wish to stay. Arendor's gaze softened slightly. Very well, but heed my warning. Curiosity is a gift. Carelessness is a danger. Stay vigilant, human. With that, he stepped back into the portal, which shimmered and collapsed in on itself. The basement was quiet again, except for the faint, residual sparkle of magic lingering in the air. Alex sank into a chair, trying to calm his racing heart. Wow. Okay. That was something. Nix floated to his side, her tail brushing lightly against his arm. Humans. You are brave. You risked fear to allow learning. I admire you. Alex smiled faintly. I'm glad you think so. But we need to be careful. There's more to your world than just fun rituals and floating books. Nix nodded. I understand, but I am ready. I wish to continue learning, with caution. Human rituals are precious. I cannot abandon them. Over the next few days, Alex noticed that Nix's magic became more subtle, controlled, and purposeful. She practiced rituals with discipline, often blending magic gently into ordinary actions. Candles flickered with color, plants responded instantly to care, and even small objects seemed to dance with delight as she moved. But she also began to take an interest in the outside world. She asked about neighbors, city life, and the humans who passed by Alex's home. Alex explained carefully, making sure she understood social boundaries and caution. Nix listened intently, absorbing every detail, eager to blend her fascination for humans with her magical abilities. One evening, as Alex read a book in the living room, Nix hovered near the window, watching the street below. A soft breeze rustled her hair and her violet eyes glimmered in the fading light. Alex, she said softly, humans, you are complex. Your rituals, your emotions, they are strong. I feel connected. Alex looked at her, surprised by the intensity in her voice. Connected, huh? Yeah, I guess we are. You've made this house livelier, I'll admit that. Nix smiled faintly. I hope my presence is welcome. I do not wish to intrude, only to learn and share magic and rituals together. Alex nodded. It is welcome, but we need to remember there's a balance. Magic, humans, rituals, they must coexist carefully. Otherwise, things could get messy. Nix nodded solemnly. I understand. I will respect your world, and I will respect the rituals you treasure. For the first time, Alex realized something important. Nix's fascination with human rituals wasn't just about curiosity. It was about connection, understanding, and trust. She saw value in ordinary life, in the little details humans often overlooked. And in doing so, she taught Alex to appreciate his own world in a new light. As the night deepened, Alex and Nix settled into the quiet hum of coexistence. Magic lingered softly, blending with the comfort of human routines. Outside, the world moved on, oblivious to the strange, beautiful bond forming in a small basement at the edge of town. Tomorrow promised more lessons, more rituals, and perhaps more challenges. But for now, Alex felt a sense of calm. He was learning, too, about courage, curiosity, and the extraordinary power of understanding another being, no matter how different they might be. And Nix. She was learning that rituals were more than just actions. They were bridges between worlds, between magic and humans, and perhaps even between hearts. The morning sun filtered through the basement window, casting warm golden light over the cozy space. Alex stretched, feeling unusually awake for a weekend. Nix was already up, hovering near a small pile of objects she had arranged on the floor. Tiny sparkles of violet magic shimmered around her wings as she moved, careful and deliberate. Morning, human, she said softly, her cat-like ears twitching. I am ready to continue learning. Alex rubbed his eyes. Morning, Nix, you've been up early every day. You really take this whole human ritual thing seriously, don't you? Nix smiled faintly. Yes, I wish to understand humans fully. Your rituals are beautiful, meaningful. I want to experience as many as possible. Alex shook his head, amused and slightly tired. All right. Today, let's do something simple. I thought we could go outside for a bit. Walk in the yard, see the sun. Nix's eyes widened. Outside. Your world. It is part of the rituals? Sometimes, Alex said with a grin. Walking in the fresh air, seeing the world, noticing small things. It counts, it's peaceful. Nix hovered beside him, wings fluttering. I wish to learn this ritual. Lead the way, human. As they stepped into the yard, Alex noticed how attentive Nix was. She examined every flower, blade of grass, and leaf. Even the sunlight seemed magical to her, reflecting off her violet eyes in a soft, enchanting glow. Alex realized that for her, everything human was extraordinary. and her fascination made him see his own world in a new light. "You notice so much," he said quietly. "You make the ordinary feel special." Nyx tilted her head, considering his words. "That is because I have perspective. Humans often overlook beauty because it is normal. I do not. Every ritual, every act has meaning, even this simple walk." They walked slowly, and Alex noticed the tiny magical disturbances Nyx left behind. Flowers seemed to bloom brighter, shadows danced lightly, and the air felt warmer, softer. It was subtle, but he realized her presence made the yard feel alive. Later, back in the basement, Alex decided it was time for another human ritual, storytelling. He sat on the couch, Nyx hovering beside him. "Humans tell stories," Alex began. "We share experiences, lessons, emotions. It is a ritual of connection." Nyx nodded eagerly. "I will observe carefully." "And perhaps participate?" Alex smiled. "Sure, I'll start and then you can tell your own story if you like." He spoke about his childhood, small adventures, and everyday moments he had never thought remarkable. Nyx listened intently, eyes wide, occasionally fluttering her wings with fascination. When he finished, she spoke softly. "In my realm, stories exist, but they are often rigid, strict. Your stories breathe. They carry emotion, connection, curiosity. I wish to try telling one." Nyx's story was about her world, a realm of floating islands, violet skies, and forests that glowed under moonlight. Her voice wove magic and imagery together, and Alex felt transported. He realized she had a way of blending human rituals with her own magical perspective, creating something entirely new. As the story ended, the basement was silent for a moment. Then Alex spoke quietly but with emotion. You're amazing, Nyx. I didn't realize stories could feel like that." Nyx's ears twitched and her tail flicked softly. "Human, you teach me rituals. But in turn, you teach me patience, reflection, and trust. This connection is valuable." Alex felt warmth spread through him. "I guess that's what rituals are really about. Connection, meaning, understanding. You're learning more than just steps and actions. You're learning how to be part of something." Nyx nodded, violet eyes shimmering. "Yes, and I wish to continue. I will stay, if you allow. I promise to respect your world, your routines, your boundaries." Alex hesitated. Part of him worried about the attention Nyx might attract or what her magic could do beyond the basement. But another part of him knew that he couldn't imagine his life without her presence, without the lessons she taught him about seeing the world differently. "You want to stay?" he asked softly. "Yes," Nyx replied without hesitation. "I admire humans. I cherish their rituals, and I trust you." Alex took a deep breath and nodded. "Then okay. You can stay, but we need rules. Magic is fine, as long as it's controlled, and rituals are okay. But respect the world outside, okay?" Nyx smiled, wings fluttering. "Agreed. I will respect all. I promise." Over the next few days, their bond grew stronger. They continued learning and teaching each other. Cooking, cleaning, storytelling, observing the world outside, and even small acts of kindness that Alex performed daily. Nyx's magic subtly enhanced their rituals, making the basement glow with warmth and energy. One afternoon, while Alex was reading, Nyx floated above a small table where he kept his plants. She sprinkled a little violet dust and the flowers responded immediately, petals opening wider, colors brightening. Alex watched, fascinated. "Your magic. It's beautiful," he said softly. "But careful. It's strong." Nyx looked thoughtful. "Yes, magic must complement, not dominate. Humans' rituals are delicate. They carry meaning. I will not disturb them." Alex nodded, feeling relief. "Good, that's exactly what I hoped." As night fell, they settled into the basement for one last ritual of the day, sharing dreams. Alex told Nyx about small hopes he had, traveling to new places, learning new skills, experiencing more of life. Nyx listened, captivated, and then shared her dreams, exploring human culture, learning rituals across the world, and creating a bridge between her magical realm and Alex's human world. "You see, human," she said softly. "Rituals are not only about actions, they are about growth, connection, and understanding. You have taught me this." Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of wonder. "And you've taught me to see life differently, to notice beauty, magic, and meaning in things I took for granted. I guess we're both learning from each other." Nix's violet eyes sparkled. Yes, that is perfect, I feel. Happy, safe, connected, all thanks to human rituals and your guidance. Alex leaned back, reflecting. He had gone from a quiet, predictable life to a basement filled with magic, wonder, and a small, extraordinary companion who loved human rituals more than anyone else he had ever met. He realized that life didn't need to be ordinary. Sometimes it needed someone like Nix to remind you that even small actions, making tea, watching a movie, telling a story, could hold magic beyond imagination. Days turned into weeks, and their routines became a dance of magic and ritual. The basement was transformed, a place where two worlds met, where human habits merged with magical possibilities. Alex noticed that he laughed more, appreciated small things, and felt a sense of purpose he had never known. Nix, in turn, grew more confident, her magic refined, her fascination with humans deepening. She learned about patience, empathy, and the quiet strength that humans displayed in ordinary life. And through it all, she never wavered in her admiration for Alex, not just as a teacher, but as a friend and companion. One quiet evening, as the sun set and the basement glowed with gentle light, Alex looked at Nix and smiled. You know, I didn't think a Goth Pixie cat girl staying in my basement would change my life this much. Nix tilted her head, wings fluttering softly. Humans, you are surprising. And yet, it is your rituals, your actions, your heart that truly change me, Alex chuckled. Well, I guess we both learned a lot. About each other, and about ourselves. Nix floated closer, her violet eyes meeting his. Yes, and I wish to continue. There are more rituals, more lessons, more wonders, and I wish to share them with you. Alex nodded, feeling a deep warmth in his chest. Then, let's keep going. Together. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt truly alive. The basement was no longer just a quiet, empty space, it was a home. A magical world where humans and magic coexisted, where rituals were not only actions but bridges between worlds, and where two very different beings had found connection, understanding, and perhaps even friendship beyond measure. Outside, the stars twinkled gently, reflecting the calm of a night filled with possibility. Inside, magic lingered softly, blending with human life in perfect harmony. And somewhere in the quiet glow of the basement, Nix curled up on her blanket, tail flicking with contentment, wings folding neatly, dreaming of new rituals to explore and new wonders to share. Life had changed for both of them, forever. And for Alex, the lesson was clear. Magic, friendship, and understanding could turn the ordinary into something extraordinary. And for Nix, the lesson was equally clear. Humans, their rituals, and their hearts held a magic unlike any other, one worth staying for, exploring, and cherishing. Together, they had found balance between worlds, between magic and humanity, and between curiosity and care. And in that balance, the basement had become a sanctuary, a classroom, a playground, and a home.